All right, I think we are live. Welcome everyone to another episode of Mission Possible, which is a new series that we have started. We had a couple of more episodes in the last 2 weeks around that, and this is the third episode for that one. If this is your first time joining us here, we are glad that you're here. And if you've joined us before, welcome back. So for Mission Possible is a new format where we share real life case studies from product people and we give you a behind the scene look into the ways of working or sometimes chaotic client situations that we step in as interim PMs and how we help teams turn the chaos into clarity. And today's mission is about a company which is a green tech company here in Berlin, which is 𝙏𝙗, and they were scaling fast. They got an inspiring mission, and we joined the website team and say we walked into a middle of a storm, which I will be sharing shortly. And yeah, so it's about a sustainability company, and this is our third episode of Mission Possible. So welcome everyone. Before we jump in, let me give you a brief introduction about myself. I'm 𝙏𝙗𝙚, Senior Product Management Consultant at Product People. Over the last years, I've worked on different projects in different industries, fintech, B2C, apps, sustainability, which I'll be talking about today. And yeah, so that's pretty much it about me. I wouldn't take too much time there. And a bit about Product People as well. So what we do here, so we are an interim product management consultancy, which sells product management as a service. And our mission is to help companies discover and deliver great products faster. We empower our product management community as well to share knowledge. And that's why we do these community events while also managing the unglamorous hands-on work of a product manager, product owner, or a product leader on interim basis, let's say from 3 to 12 months. And we are 40 full-time product management consultants serving as interims, and we have a community of 60K members. All right, so let me give you a brief context about our case study that we worked on this client. So that company is 𝙏𝙗, which was scaling fast, and we were called in to fix the chaos and how we helped the client unplug their website team. We worked in the growth team as a website product manager there. So let's dive in. So think of a time, what happens when a company is scaling fast. There can be multiple scenarios. For instance, they get quickly messy, requests multiply, ownership gets blurry, and processes break down as well. And it's a bit of a like you're building a plane, which is quite exciting, but also dangerous if you do not know the structure, right? So these things get really out of hand if you're not building everything into a structured manner. And that's what we did, helped the client scale fast, the website team here. All right, so let me tell you a bit more about the client itself, which is 𝙏𝙗, which is Germany's leading residential solar energy platform. It is a green tech company. Their mission is to make solar energy simple and accessible for everyone. And if you go onto their website here, how it works, if you are, for instance, a homeowner in Germany and you're thinking about solar panels, you go onto their website. You answer a few questions about what is your roof size, what kind of electricity usage you have, whether you have a storage need or not. Based on that, the company will give you a tailored offer, which is kind of a package that they include the solar panels, the inverter, the installation, and even other monitoring needs as well. So it's one-stop shop, you can say, for going solar. And in Germany, especially with high energy prices, it's a go-to stop for a lot of users. And their mission is really powerful as well. And now business-wise, what 𝙏𝙗 was going through when we joined the company back in 2022, that they were scaling like crazy. There was a huge demand for energy crisis, fast-growing teams, and they had ambitious target as well, which is great. But again, scaling fast is always coming through growing pains as well, which we briefly discussed about. And the website team was right in the middle of it. All right. And yeah, which we usually call in our terms a perfect storm, where you cannot see anything what is coming to you. When we started onboarding and we were bombarded with different requests from different angles, and this GIF represents the current state we had at that time. And yeah, so basically there were a couple of things that we had to do when we onboarded. For instance, there were requests everywhere. For instance, marketing team wanted a new landing page, sales wanted faster lead capture, designers wanted better UX, leadership wanted to see conversion rates move up, and the website team was hitting the ground from every angle. And there was no clear prioritization. Everything felt urgent for each stakeholder, which is usually the case when we are talking to stakeholders. And every stakeholder thought the request was the most important, and the team had no framework to say yes or no to a request, or even say not now to a request, which created chaos. And there were also broken ceremonies. For instance, the stand-ups were happening, but they were more like status updates rather than giving or understanding what are the blockers. Sprint reviews were losing the audience they had before, and also there were no retros to reflect on what's really happening or going well for the team or what's not going well. And finally, the backlog felt like a graveyard. And imagine, for instance, 100 of tickets. Some were like 2 years old, some duplicates, some completely unclear, and a new team member. If it was overwhelming, for instance, for leadership, it wasn't clear what the website team was working on. So these were a couple of challenges that we had to face or go through while onboarding. And what we did, or what we helped the website team with. So some of the few root causes that we analyzed at the beginning were that since the team was growing fast, the company was growing fast, but the processes hadn't scaled yet, and the ownership was a bit blurred. There was no clear product manager for the team. There was a website team, and was it owned by marketing team? Was it owned by growth? Was it owned by tech? So everyone had influence on the team, but nobody had the final say. So that was a bit blurry. And the OKRs that the company set up for the team was a bit ambitious, and they weren't really connected to day-to-day tasks the website team was working on. So the team was busy, but not always busy on the right things. So that's how you get this perfect storm kind of a thing, where there is too much demand, but not enough clarity for what the team should be working on. And this created a lot of chaos, and this blocked and frustrated teams, and also the work streams were not working efficiently. So, and then comes our approach. So we had to step in to clear the clouds, or to make the storm be more calm. So we stepped in with one mission: calm the storm, bring clarity, and get the team delivering again. Our approach had four kind of big parts, I would say. First, listen first, talk to stakeholders. We did a lot of interviews with the stakeholders to understand their pain points and strengthen the team. We helped the company hire new team members, helped in the recruiting process, helped in interviewing the developers, also new people as well. And then we did a couple of workshops as well, which I will be talking about shortly, how to make the ceremonies meaningful again. And then we finally created a roadmap which tied to the OKRs. So I will go through them one by one. So the first thing that we did when we started onboarding, we had interviews with the stakeholders. We did this interview stakeholder mapping. For instance, for each of the interview we did, we sat down with people across marketing, growth, engineering, design, and other leadership team, and we really asked simple questions to them. What do you need from the website team, and what's working on what's not working well? And the first few things that we learned were people were really frustrated that they are not being heard. So we also gave them a platform to make them feel heard, and also tell them that your request will be taken into account once you let us know what are the pain points you're having with the website team. And second, there were some overlapping priorities that were already there. For instance, marketing and sales wanted to for example, wanted the same thing, which was better landing page or better lead capture, but they weren't talking to each other. So there were some silos in conversations as well. So by doing these interviews, we not only mapped the landscape, but we also earned trust of each stakeholder. And people saw that we were there to listen to their request, not just change everything overnight. So these are some of the interviews that we had, which fell into different bucket: ways of working that was going well, points of improvement, strategy that was going well that could have improved. And then from there, we created a list of features of desired developments that could come in the near future. So that was step one for us. And second, we looked at the capacity, right? So there was already budget approved for the new development team, and it was obvious the team was understaffed with only one developer and one senior developer and one junior developer, and the team wasn't moving fast enough to deliver the desired result. So we helped them with hiring and onboarding, also helped with writing the job description, screening some of the profiles, but also thinking about how to onboard people better. So we started creating documentation around that when some of the new team member joins, how they will onboard in the website team. So when we arrived, new hires had to figure out everything out by themselves. The Jira boards, the stakeholders, the rituals, there was no clear documentation. So we started creating these documents as well. It was more like joining in the mid game. There were no rules explained. So we created those rules, right? And so we created onboarding guide, some checklist, and you can say a mini library of past decisions as well. If some decisions were created, why they were created, and why these decisions depend on the website team. So this way, every new joiner, when they joined, they could start onboarding in a 2-week plan rather than months figuring out different stuff by themselves. And this also created or build trust with the team members who were joining newly, that they are coming into a more structured environment rather than going into more chaotic environment. So that was our second approach. And the third approach was that we started conducting some workshops once the team was built with all the new hires. When we joined in, we started improving the ceremonies, the scrum rituals, the developer ceremonies that we had. So we conducted this workshop where we showed them what is the work that is in progress and what is the work that would come next. We tried to hear from them what would work best for them. Then we created a definition of done during that workshop, and we aligned on a single approach that the whole team would be working on. So as I mentioned, when we joined, the stand-ups were a bit dragging. So people were listing what they did yesterday, what they'll do today, but there was no discussion of blockers. So we helped also create a new board in Jira, creating this new section on the stand-up board, which was impediments. And when there was a blocker or impediment, everything was easy to escalate with the stakeholders as well. So we shifted the focus. What was stopping you from moving forward? How can we help the team? Suddenly, stand-ups got a bit shorter, sharper, and more useful, rather than talking about the same point or more of a status update meeting that was not productive at all. And we also helped in defining more structured sprint planning, sprint reviews. So everything was refined beforehand in the backlog refinement meeting. We used to have a ticket template for each of the tickets. So everything was already pre-shared with the developer so that they could understand what is coming next in the refinement session. And when the refinement session was going on, we used to have real discussions rather than talking about if something is missing in the ticket itself, right? So by doing this approach, we started inviting more stakeholders as well in the sprint reviews so that they could also share their input and they feel the transparency is maintained. There is more clarity in the structure as well. And this also built the trust and visibility with the team itself. So this helped us move forward. And at the very end, we also started introducing retro sessions where we highlighted what was working well with the team and what wasn't working well. This sometimes created more points about the ways of working. Sometimes it was more about celebrating wins as well. So we created a team culture inside the newly built website team, which helped us behave like a strongly built new team. So this was our third approach. And then fourth was majorly about documentation. So as I mentioned, there were a lot of requests that was coming in from different teams, marketing, sales, leadership, stakeholders, and there were no dedicated channels in Slack where these requests were sent through. So we created structure in that sense as well. We started using more group conversations rather than encouraging direct messages in Slack, and people started using a form in Jira that we built up, and they were able to submit different requests to the website team through that form. And that way they were able to also see what is coming up in the backlog as well and what would go into the next sprint. So when we joined in, some decisions were scattered, some were in Slack, some were in Notion, some in people's head, and nobody knew what the truth was. So that's why we wanted to make it more structured. So we created a single place for decision. We created a decision log as well. And there everyone could go through and check why a certain decision was taken. There were priorities set for each request, and they were able to see the effort from development team as well, when it will be handled in which period as well. And there was a living backlog in Jira rather than a graveyard that which we had before with hundreds of tickets. Some were duplicates, some were creating the same request, and it helped align the team better as well. So in this way, we were able to say, for instance, if why the landing page wasn't going live and when it will go live. So now the marketing team and the sales team also were aligned with the website team that these are the current timelines that we are working on. And this created transparency, noise went down, and people were more aligned on their request as well. And we also created these stakeholder roundtables, which was a bi-weekly session where stakeholders would bring up their new request to the website team, and we would listen to them, hear them, and then create some resolution. If it is the responsibility of the website team, then we will create a ticket and move forward with the request, tell them that by X and X date, we will be able to solve this, and let them know that it will be taken into the next sprint. So that's how we created more streamlining of the requests. And the last piece was that there was no clear roadmap, no short-term roadmap, no mid-term roadmap, or no long-term roadmap. So we tried to build this in a workshop as well. So how our work that we are working on is connected to the OKR that the company is working on. So we built a roadmap that connected the current user stories from our team to the OKRs. For instance, if the company's OKR was to increase the lead conversion, for instance, by X%, then the website priorities had to show how they contributed it. And this also created some motivation for the developers as well, that the work they are doing is also collaborating to the work the company is aiming towards, right? So this created more sense of unity between the team as well. And this turned the backlog from more like a laundry list into a story where that here's what we are building, and here why it matters, and how it connects to the company goals. And this alignment was a game changer for the team. So the stakeholders input shaped the priorities, the strategic alignment linked the roadmap to the company OKRs, and the transparent progress, for instance, regular updates that we used to give in the cross-functional check-ins also helped the stakeholders align on it. And there were clear outcomes, visibility on the priorities, and also progress across team. So this really helped shape the website team. And finally, the results were pretty good, and we delivered the outcomes that mattered the most. The team regained the focus. They knew what mattered and why. So we improved the sprint velocity by establishing agile ceremonies from scratch, and there were effective processes. We created comprehensive documentation, and then there was a clear roadmap telling the priorities on short-term, mid-term, and long-term. And they were also linked to the OKRs and what the company objectives were. And finally, we also onboarded the new PM that was hired by the website for the website team, and we onboarded that person. We hand over everything from scratch, what we created, to that person, and it was a super smooth onboarding for that person. And then finally, the stronger collaboration that we built trust and also ensured the product relevance for the team itself. So these were some of the things that we did to hit the ground running for this company. And finally, we had this happy dance, as you can see in this GIF, after we delivered the outcomes. All right, so that's basically the story for the client that we worked on, Zoller. We would also love to hear your questions or reflections, or drop them in chat, especially if you're in this situation in a growth team where everything feels urgent, nothing gets done, and how to handle it. Feel free to drop your comments in the chat. And also there is this survey. If you can scan this QR code, you will be able to send feedback to us. But in the meantime, when we are collecting questions, I can also share a bit more about product people. So some of the use cases that we cover are interim fractional support for product manager or product leader. Some of the use cases are permanent position covers, parental leave covers, and important and for some urgent initiatives. We also do coaching or advisor consultants. We also do have discovery experts, for instance, market use cases, jobs to be done, business model research and validation. And yeah, some of the clients that we worked with are Eventim, eBay. You might have heard about them. FreeNow, Douglas, Backmarket, and some of other clients that we worked with: Localize, Sastrify, and World Health Organization. And these are some of the stats from our company. We have supported 100 plus clients from Series A startups. We supported 690 plus cross-functional teams. We are 40 product leaders or managers in our company, out of which 59% are in the leadership team. All right, so that's it from me, and happy to see if we have any questions. All right, we don't have any question. There was just one comment that the onboarding process and success is frequently underrated. Yeah, that's true. We need to also think about when someone is onboarding. At that phase, there will be less team capacity. For instance, if a developer is onboarding another developer, the developer that has certain velocity could also go into this onboarding phase where they will not be working. So yeah, it's quite underrated. And if we create documentation from scratch, I think it really helps onboard people as well. And we have one question: after how long could the changes you did be seen? So it was from 1 month. After 1 month, when we started implementing all these changes, it was visible in the team as well. In the sprint velocity, it was increases. We did sprint reviews where we were able to see how many stories we completed. We had these burnout charts. So it really helped us show to the management as well that we were progressing quickly. All right. There's one more question. You have shown results like better sprint velocity, stronger collaboration. In your view, what's riskier for a product team? Chasing metrics that look good on paper but don't move the business needle, or focusing on cultural wins that are hard to measure? And how do you point that out without coming off as the villain in the room? I think these both of the things go hand in hand. So I wouldn't focus on one and stop looking at the other. So for instance, when we onboard onto a company, we try to always sense the room, the culture as well by interviewing stakeholders, right? We showed you the stakeholder interview mapping that we did. So it's easier to get what has been working for a team, what has not been working for a team, and then we can map out common themes from these interviews, and also then create them into some feature request, or could be some processes request, improval requests. So I think it really helps if we do them together and not just focus on one, rather than on the culture, rather than on the sprint velocity. So I would say try to balance them out by building relationship with your team as well, and also helping in the ways of working. So that would be my take on it. And I hope it answers your question. All right. Do we have any further questions? All right. I think we are good then. We don't have any further questions. So thank you everyone for joining today's live stream. I would say join us every week. We have our live stream sessions every Tuesday, and you can also scan this QR code to give us feedback on today's live stream.